When I said with genuine pride, "Son, I'm so happy to officially make you managing partner tomorrow," Marcus went quiet. His wife, Vanessa, laughed, but it came out wrong, nervous, and sharp. The partnership papers had been signed 3 weeks ago. The $125,000 I'd wired for restaurant renovations had gone straight into their vacation condo in Cabo San Lucas. A month later, they came to my office begging for another chance, and I looked them both in the eye and said, "You're fired. Get out of my restaurant." They were stunned. But before we continue, let me tell you how we got here. The salmon needed another 2 minutes. I checked it through the oven door, watching the herb butter pool around the fingerling potatoes. 6:47 p.m. Marcus said they'd arrive by 6:30. I adjusted the wine glasses one more time, making sure everything was perfect. 3-place settings. The good china Sarah and I had collected during our years running the maritime table together. Strange how these plates only came out for special occasions now, 6 years after her funeral, and tomorrow was special. Tomorrow I'd sign the papers that made Marcus my equal partner in the restaurant we'd built over 32 years. $125,000. I'd just transferred to the renovation account. New kitchen equipment, dining room refresh, updated POS system. Everything, Marcus said, we needed to take the restaurant to the next level. Worth every penny to see him take ownership, to know Sarah's legacy would continue through our son. Headlights swept across the window. I was already opening the door when they came up the walkway. Marcus looked good in his blazer, dark hair styled carefully, but something felt off. He wouldn't meet my eyes, kept looking past me into the house. Vanessa was on her phone, barely acknowledged me. "Come in, come in." I held the door wide. "Traffic bad on I-5? "Not terrible." Marcus's voice sounded flat. He walked past me into the living room like he'd rather be anywhere else. Vanessa followed, still texting. "Dinner's almost ready." I closed the door. I wanted us to have this evening together before tomorrow gets crazy. Partnership signing at 10, then lunch with the attorney, then we can start implementing all those renovation plans you've been working on. Marcus finally looked at me. What I saw made my chest tighten. "Dad, we already signed the papers. 3 weeks ago, downtown, at Morrison and Chen." Vanessa witnessed it. The room tilted. My hand found the back of the nearest chair. "What did you say?" Vanessa didn't look up from her phone. "We decided to expedite the process. Less bureaucratic red tape. Marcus is already managing partner. Has been since October 1st. But my voice sounded distant. "We were supposed to do this together. Tomorrow. The attorney appointment. The celebration lunch. The plans change." Marcus shrugged. Actually shrugged, like he'd forgotten to pick up milk. "We're partners now, Dad. Equal partners. Time to start acting like it. Speaking of which, we need to talk about the renovation budget." The oven timer started beeping. None of us moved. "The renovation money I just sent. Where is it?" "Allocated." Marcus pulled out his phone, scrolled through something. "Kitchen equipment is back-ordered anyway. We had a better opportunity. Investment property in Cabo. 2-bedroom condo. Ocean view. Great rental potential. Use the renovation funds for the down payment." "My renovation funds? For our restaurant?" "Our restaurant." Vanessa looked up finally, her eyes cold. "Marcus is a partner now. Equal say in financial decisions. The Cabo property will generate passive income. Much smarter than dumping money into equipment that depreciates." I walked past them both, turned off the oven, left the salmon to dry out, moved through my house to the home office, the room where Sarah and I used to do the restaurant books together every Sunday night. The filing cabinet stuck like always. I gave it the practice jerk, pulled out the accordion folder, marked Marcus Financial. The desk lamp made a circle of light. I didn't bother with the overhead. Didn't need it. I knew what was in this folder. Every bank statement, every canceled check, every wire transfer from the past 15 years. I spread them across the desk, turned on my computer, started with college. University of Washington, 4 years. Out of state for 2 years when he insisted on studying hospitality at Cornell. Total. 0. I opened a spreadsheet, started entering numbers. Then came the MBA. Marcus had been so excited 2 years ago. "Dad, This online MBA from Northeastern will help me bring modern business practices to the restaurant. Strategic management, financial planning, everything we need. I need help with tuition. I'd driven to his apartment in Capitol Hill, watched him show me the program details on his laptop. Looked legitimate. He needed $60,000 for the 2-year program. I found the wire transfer. August 2022. $60,000 to Marcus's personal account. But I never saw a degree. Never saw him studying. Started to wonder 6 months ago, but told myself I was being paranoid. I pulled out my phone, searched Northeastern, online MBA, found the program, clicked on tuition, $24,000 total for the entire degree. I'd given him $60,000. The program cost $24,000. Where did the other $36,000 go? My hands were shaking. I set down the phone, picked up the next folder, monthly stipend. When Marcus said he wanted to focus full-time on learning the restaurant business, I'd agreed to pay him $2,800 a month. Let him work as assistant manager without worrying about money. That was 3 years ago. I pulled out my calculator. $2,800 times 36 months, $100,800. Then the car. His Honda had died 2 years ago. Could I help with a down payment? I'd co-signed for a BMW 5 Series, $42,000, financed through Chase. I'd made every payment. The numbers kept adding. College $95,000, MBA $60,000, monthly stipend $100,800, car $42,000, restaurant renovation $125,000. I stared at the total. Sisher Arwen Launtim Babai Mayun, $422,800 given to my son, and he couldn't even tell me he'd signed the partnership papers early. Couldn't give me the dignity of being present for the moment I'd been building toward since Sarah died. I logged into the restaurant's business account, the one I'd set up last year when Marcus said we needed a joint account for operational flexibility. Current balance, $34,612. I clicked transaction history. October 3. Withdrawal $12,000. Notation. MV personal. October 7. Withdrawal $8,500. Notation. MV personal. October 15. Withdrawal $6,800. Notation. MV personal. MV. Marcus and Vanessa. I scrolled back through 3 months. Every withdrawal over $5,000 had those initials. I added them up, $87,300 taken from the business account in 3 months. Money that should have paid suppliers, staff, utilities. Money I'd been covering personally without realizing it. My son had drained the business account, spent my renovation money on a vacation condo, lied about an MBA program, and made himself my partner without me. The mechanic in me understood. When something's broken beyond repair, you don't keep fixing it. You cut your losses. I opened a new document on my computer, started typing. Action items. Monday morning. Remove Marcus from all bank accounts. Call attorney Michael Chang. Revoke partnership agreement if possible. If not, buy him out and remove him from business entirely. Revise will. Remove Marcus as beneficiary. Restaurants, life insurance, retirement accounts, everything. I opened a new browser tab. Seattle Estate Attorneys. Family Business Succession Planning. Asset Protection from Family Claims. The search results filled my screen. I started reading, taking notes, making lists. My phone rang. Marcus. I stared at it. Let it go to voicemail. The salmon was cold on the dining room table, the wine unopened. 3 place settings for a dinner that would never happen. I kept working. By 4 a.m., I had a plan. Legal pad filled with attorney names, account numbers to close, documents to revise. The folder of evidence sat beside my keyboard. Every receipt, every statement, every lie documented in black and white. The bank opened at 9. Michael Chang's law office opened at 8:30. I had 5 hours to shower, organize my files, prepare for the conversation that would dismantle my son's entire future. You want independence? I said it to the empty office, to the son who wasn't there to hear it. You'll have it. The shower water ran hot until the bathroom filled with steam. Sunday morning, most people slept in. I had work to do. I dressed in pressed slacks, button-down shirt, the watch Sarah gave me for our 20th anniversary. When you're about to change everything, you dress for it. The Maritime Table's monthly financials sat on my desk. I'd always handled the books personally, but lately I'd been giving Marcus access, trusting him to learn. Now I looked at the numbers differently. Revenue was steady, but expenses had crept up. Food costs higher than they should be. Unexplained charges to vendors I didn't recognize. How long had this been happening? Michael Chang's office was in a brick building on First Avenue, overlooking Elliott Bay. I'd used him for the restaurant's legal work for a decade. Solid attorney, discreet, exactly what I needed. The receptionist looked surprised to see me. Robert, you don't have an appointment. I know, but I need to see Michael. It's urgent. She picked up the phone, murmured something. He's free now. Go ahead in. Michael's office had floor-to-ceiling windows facing the water. Container ships lined up in the distance, waiting their turn at the port. He stood when I entered, extended his hand. Robert, what's going on? Restaurant okay? Restaurant's fine. This is about Marcus. I told him everything. The partnership papers signed without me. The $125,000 sent to Cabo. The business account drained. The fake MBA. Michael made notes, his expression shifting from surprise to understanding. Robert, I need to tell you something. Marcus came to see me 6 weeks ago, asked me to draft the partnership documents, said you'd agreed to everything, just wanted it expedited for tax purposes. I thought it was strange you didn't come yourself, but he was convincing. You should have called me. I should have. Michael set down his pen. I'm sorry. I trusted your son's word. Can we void the partnership? Not easily. He's a legal partner now. But we can explore buyout options, or restructuring the agreement to limit his authority. He pulled out a fresh legal pad. Let's start with your goals here. What do you want? I want him out, completely. And I want to make sure he never benefits from what Sarah and I built. When I die, the restaurants don't go to him. Michael leaned back. We can do that. Buyout will be expensive. You'll essentially be purchasing his partnership share at fair market value. But Robert, are you sure? Family businesses, family relationships. Once you cross this line, he crossed it first. When he lied, when he stole, when he made me irrelevant in my own restaurant. Then we'll make it airtight. Michael pulled out paperwork. This will take time. Asset valuations, partnership dissolution documents, estate planning revisions. I'm looking at 3 to 4 weeks minimum, whatever it takes. Back at the restaurant Monday morning, everything looked normal. The lunch prep crew was already working. Felipe prepping vegetables, Jenna checking reservations. Marcus wasn't in yet. Usually arrived around 11, after I'd handled the morning work. I went to the office, logged into the computer, started changing passwords. Bank accounts, POS system, supplier portals, everything. Then I called the bank. I need to remove a signer from all Maritime Table accounts, effective immediately. By noon, Marcus had no access to any restaurant finances. I documented every unauthorized withdrawal, printed every statement, built the case. He showed up at 1, walked into the office like he owned it, which, legally, he partly did. For now. Dad, we need to talk about the fall menu. I'm thinking we pivot more toward fusion, less traditional seafood. Maybe some Asian influences. No. I didn't look up from my computer. What do you mean? No. We're partners now. We make decisions together. The Cabo condo. I turned to face him. How much did it cost? His face went pale. That's a separate investment? Personal finances? Bought with restaurant renovation money. My restaurant renovation money. Plus the $87,300 you pulled from the business account over the last 3 months. I don't know what you're talking about. I slid the printed statements across the desk. Every transaction highlighted. Every MV notation circled in red. Want to try again? Marcus picked up the papers, his hands shaking. Dad, look, I was going to pay it back. The condo is an investment. It'll appreciate, generate rental income, and then we can. You lied about the MBA. His mouth opened, closed. I did some of the program. Then it wasn't relevant to what we needed, so You did none of it. I checked. The program costs $24,000. You took $60,000. Where did the other $36,000 go? Vanessa and I had some expenses. Wedding costs, honeymoon, settling into the marriage. I was going to tell you. When? After you'd drained everything? After you'd mortgaged the restaurant I spent 30 years building? Marcus stood up. You're overreacting. This is what partnership means. Shared resources, shared decisions. You need to let go of control, Dad. Mom's been gone 6 years. Time to accept that. The mention of Sarah, weaponized like that, cut deeper than anything else. I stood up slowly, walked around the desk, until I was face to face with my son. Get out. What? You're fired. Get your things and leave my restaurant. You can't fire me. I'm a partner. Watch me. Michael Chang is already drafting the buyout papers. You'll get fair market value for your partnership share. Then you're done. Out of the business, out of my life. Dad, come on. We can work this out. I made some mistakes, but... Mistakes? You stole from me, lied to me, made yourself my partner without me even being there. Those aren't mistakes, Marcus. That's betrayal. His face hardened. Fine. You want to do this the hard way? We'll do it the hard way. Vanessa's father is an attorney. We'll fight this. Partnership agreements aren't easy to break. Try me. I moved to the door, held it open. Leave. Now. Before I call the police and report embezzlement. He grabbed his jacket, his laptop, stopped at the door. You'll regret this. When you're alone, when the restaurant fails without me, you'll realize you need me. I've been doing this since before you were born. I'll be fine. He left. I closed the door, locked it, stood there for a long moment. Then I went back to work. That evening, my phone started buzzing. Texts from numbers I didn't recognize. Robert, I heard about the situation with Marcus. Hope you're okay. Another. Saw Marcus's Facebook post. That's rough, man. Another. Is it true you fired your own son? I opened Facebook. Hadn't posted anything in months, maybe years. But there it was, shared by half a dozen restaurant industry people I knew. Marcus's post from an hour ago. Heavy heart tonight. After dedicating years to my father's restaurant, giving up other opportunities to help build the family business, I've been cut off. No warning, no conversation, just fired. Because I made decisions as a partner that he didn't agree with. I'm learning that some people would rather control than collaborate. If you're dealing with a toxic family member who uses money to manipulate, you're not alone. We deserve better. 200 reactions already. 70 comments. I scrolled through. Most sympathetic. So sorry, Marcus. Hang in there. Your father sounds difficult. You'll land on your feet. Some questioning. There's always two sides. Hope you can work it out. One defending me. I know, Robert. There's got to be more to this story. I set my phone face down. Didn't comment. Didn't defend myself. Marcus wanted to control the narrative. Let him. I had facts, documents, evidence. When the time came, truth would matter more than social media sympathy. The next week proved brutal. I worked the restaurant alone, hiring temporary help for Marcus's role. Vendors started asking questions. Where's Marcus? Is everything okay? I kept my answers brief. Family matter. We're handling it. But the whispers spread. At the Pike Place Market, buying fresh catch, other restaurant owners gave me odd looks. The Seattle food scene was small. Everyone knew everyone. And Marcus's Facebook post had made the rounds. Thursday evening, a customer I'd known for years stopped me on his way out. Robert, I saw something online about you and your son. None of my business, but I hope everything's all right. We're working through some things. I kept my voice neutral. Sure. He hesitated. Marcus always seemed like such a good kid. Shame when family businesses get complicated. After he left, I stood in the dining room, looking at the tables Sarah and I had chosen, the art we'd collected, the space we'd built from nothing. 32 years of work, and my son had spent 1 week convincing people I was the villain. Michael called Friday afternoon. Robert, Marcus's attorney, sent over a letter. They're claiming you've breached the partnership agreement by excluding him from business operations, threatening to sue for damages and his full partnership share. Let them sue. It'll get expensive. Legal fees, possible settlement. Are you sure you want to go this route? I pulled out the folder of evidence. Bank statements, fake MBA receipts, Cabo property records I'd pulled from county records. I'm sure. Send over our response. No settlement. No compromise. He stole from the business. We have documentation. I'll draft it today. That evening, I sat at my home desk with Sarah's photo on the shelf above me. Taken during our first year with the restaurant, both of us exhausted but happy, covered in flour from an experimental bread recipe. I talked to her sometimes when the house got too quiet. We did everything right, didn't we? Raised him with values, taught him the business, gave him everything he needed. Her smile in the photo didn't change. I knew what she'd say if she could. She'd be disappointed. Not in me. In Marcus. In the choices he'd made. I pulled up the restaurant's financial records, started building a new plan. The maritime table would survive this. I'd hire a new assistant manager, someone I could trust. Eventually, maybe I'd sell the business, or donate it to a culinary scholarship program. But Marcus wouldn't benefit from Sarah's legacy. Not anymore. The Seattle Restaurant Association Gala was 3 weeks away. I'd been a member for 28 years, sponsored the event annually. $10,000 contribution, my company name on programs and table settings. Marcus knew I attended every year. I suspected he'd try something, make a scene, force a public confrontation, play the victim. I called Michael. The gala is November 17th. If Marcus shows up, I want to be prepared. Prepared how? I want to tell my side. With evidence. Everything documented. Robert, are you sure? Public confrontation might escalate things. He's already made it public. I'm just providing context. Michael was quiet for a moment. Then, let me help you organize it. If you're going to do this, we do it right. We met at his office the next day. I brought everything. Bank statements, fake MBA documentation, Cabo property records showing the purchase date and amount. Michael helped me build a timeline. A visual presentation. Simple, clear, irrefutable. November 1st, partnership papers signed without me. November 3rd, $125,000 wired for renovations. November 7th, Cabo condo purchase, $125,000 down payment. My money funding their vacation home. The slides built the story themselves. No emotion needed, just facts. By Wednesday, I had confirmation. Marcus had bought tickets to the gala. 2 seats at a back table. Last-minute purchase, nowhere near the premium sponsor tables. They were coming. Saturday evening. The Fairmont Olympic Hotel's grand ballroom gleamed under chandeliers. Round tables and white linens. Silent auction displays along the perimeter. Seattle's restaurant community dressed in their best. I'd attended this event for nearly 3 decades. Knew most faces. Understood the rhythm. Cocktails, dinner, speeches, auction, networking. I arrived at 7, made my way to my usual table near the front. Sponsor placement, maritime table placard prominent. Other restaurateurs greeted me, but some seemed uncertain. Had they seen Marcus's posts? Were they wondering if I was the toxic father he'd described? Marcus and Vanessa entered around 7:30. I saw them scan the room, spot me. Vanessa said something to Marcus. He nodded. They took seats at their table in the back. I watched them order drinks, lean together in conversation, planning something. Dinner was salmon, appropriately. The association president gave opening remarks, thanked sponsors. My name was among them. The maritime table, 28 years of continuous support, polite applause. Then came the keynote speaker, discussion of industry trends. I barely heard it. My attention kept drifting to Marcus's table. He was on his phone. Vanessa kept glancing toward the front. After the keynote, there was a break before the auction. I saw Marcus stand, walk toward the small stage. He approached the microphone, tapped it twice. Feedback squeal. The room quieted. I apologize for interrupting. His voice carried across the ballroom. But I need to address something important. Many of you know me as Robert Harrison's son. Some of you have heard that there's been a falling out. My hands tightened on my napkin. Here it was. I want to set the record straight. Marcus's voice took on a rehearsed quality, like he'd practiced this. My father cut me out of the business we built together. Cut me off financially, emotionally, all because I made one decision as a partner without asking his permission first. I know parents don't owe their adult children anything legally, but I thought family meant more than that. I thought the partnership we'd signed meant something. He extended his hand toward my table. Dad, if you're willing to talk, to find forgiveness, I'm here. Can we please work this out? 300 eyes turned to me. The trap was sprung. Refuse, and I'm the heartless father. Accept, and I validate his narrative. I stood, walked between tables toward the stage. The room held its breath. Marcus handed me the microphone. No choice but to seem cooperative. I looked out at faces I'd known for years. Business partners, competitors, friends, people who'd seen Marcus's social media posts, wondered about the truth. Thank you, Marcus, for this opportunity. My voice stayed calm. Since you've made this public, let me provide some context. Behind me, the presentation screen flickered on. Michael had coordinated with the hotel's AV team from his table. My timeline appeared. Simple, clear, undeniable. Marcus mentioned partnership. Let me explain that timeline. I clicked the remote. Slide 1 appeared. November 1st, 2023. Partnership papers signed at Morrison and Chen. I was not present. I was not informed. I learned about this when Marcus told me 3 weeks later. The document was already filed. My son already my legal partner, without me even knowing. The room was silent. Marcus's face had gone white. Next slide. November 3rd. $125,000 wire transfer from my account to Restaurant Renovation Fund. Purpose, according to Marcus, new kitchen equipment and dining room refresh. Next slide. November 7th. Property purchase in Cabo San Lucas. 2-bedroom condo, ocean view. Down payment, $125,000. Source of funds, the renovation account I'd just filled. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. But the story goes back further. I clicked through slides. August 2022, $60,000 wire transfer for Marcus's MBA program at Northeastern. Tuition for that program, $24,000. The remaining $36,000 went to personal expenses he never disclosed. Next slide. Monthly financial support, $2,800 per month for 3 years. Total, just over $100,000. Given so my son could learn the restaurant business without financial stress. Next slide. Business account withdrawals, August through October 2023. Total amount taken by Marcus and Vanessa, $87,300. Money that should have paid our suppliers and staff. I paused. Let the numbers sink in. Grand total of financial support over 15 years, including college, living expenses, fraudulent MBA program, car, and misappropriated business funds, approximately $422,000. The final slide appeared. Estate planning changes. As of this week, the maritime table and all associated assets will be placed in an irrevocable trust. Upon my death, everything funds the Sarah Harrison Culinary Scholarship Program, providing education for aspiring chefs who want to learn the trade, work hard, build something real. I look directly at Marcus. Not a dollar goes to my son. I set the microphone back on its stand. Marcus, you asked about forgiveness. Here's what I believe. Family is built on respect and honesty, not just blood. You had neither for me. So I've built a legacy that honors your mother's memory and helps people who value integrity. Thank you all for listening. Now let's get back to supporting our community. The applause started slowly, then built. Within seconds, the entire ballroom was standing. Not polite acknowledgement. Genuine, sustained applause. I walked back to my table. Didn't look at Marcus frozen on stage. Didn't watch as he and Vanessa moved toward the exit. Didn't see the faces turning to watch them leave in silence. Michael, 3 tables away, caught my eye. Nodded once. My table mate leaned close. Robert, I had no idea. I saw those Facebook posts and wondered. But this is completely different. There's always 2 sides, I said quietly. I just wanted people to know mine. My phone vibrated. Probably Marcus. Probably Vanessa. I didn't reach for it. The next morning, I woke to 17 missed calls. I made coffee, sat on my deck overlooking Puget Sound, watched ferries cross the gray water. Finally, listened to the voicemails. Dad, please. Marcus's voice desperate. We made mistakes. Terrible mistakes. But we can fix this. Just please call me back. Vanessa's voice, trying to sound reasonable. Robert, we got caught up in bad financial decisions. But Marcus is still your son. We can work out a repayment plan. Please just talk to us. Then Marcus again. You humiliated us. In front of everyone we know. How could you do that? We're family. I deleted each message without responding. Made breakfast, read the Sunday paper. Around noon, a car pulled into my driveway. Through the window, I saw Marcus's BMW. He and Vanessa got out, walked to my front door, knocked. I stayed in my kitchen, coffee cup in hand. Watched through the window. Dad, I know you're home. Your truck's here. Please just open the door. 5 minutes, please. The knocking continued. Vanessa's voice joined in. Robert, we need to talk. This is getting out of hand. We're sorry, okay? Just let us explain. I set down my coffee cup, walked to the front door, opened it. They both started talking immediately. Dad, I'm so sorry. I should have. If you just give us a chance to pay back the money, we'll sell the Cabo place, return everything, I swear. I stood in the doorway, didn't step aside, didn't invite them in, just occupied the threshold. Marcus reached toward me. We were wrong. I was wrong. I let Vanessa convince me it would be okay, that you'd understand eventually. But I see now how badly we messed up. Please, just tell us what you want, and we'll do it. What I want. I kept my voice level. I wanted a son I could trust. I wanted a partner who respected me. I wanted someone who valued what his mother and I built. You showed me who you are. I believe you now. Dad, no. Everyone makes mistakes. You taught me that. Remember when I was 16 and wrecked your truck? You forgave me then. You were 16. You're 32 now. This wasn't a mistake. This was calculated. The fake MBA, the secret partnership signing, the embezzlement. That's not an accident, Marcus. That's a choice. Vanessa stepped forward. We'll sign whatever you want. Give up the partnership claim. Pay back every dollar. Just please don't cut him out of your life completely. I've already cut you both out. I stepped back, began closing the door. The papers are filed. The trust is established. You made your decisions. Now live with them. Dad, wait. Marcus's voice broke. I'm still your son. That has to count for something. It counted for $422,000 over 15 years. Apparently that wasn't enough. I closed the door. Not slammed, just closed it firmly. The deadbolt slid home with a solid click. Through the window, I watched them stand on my porch. Vanessa put her hand on Marcus's shoulder. He shook his head, said something I couldn't hear. They walked back to the car slowly, sat there for several minutes before finally driving away. My phone rang. I looked at the screen. Marcus. I silenced it, set it face down. Michael called an hour later. Robert, the buyout papers are ready. Fair market value for Marcus's partnership share comes to $185,000. He'll be completely removed from the business once you transfer payment. Do it. Send over the paperwork. This is really final, you know. Once you buy him out, I know, I'm ready. The week after Thanksgiving, I signed the buyout papers, transferred $185,000 to Marcus's account. In return, he signed away all partnership rights, all claims to the maritime table, all future interest in the business. Michael filed the documents that same day. The restaurant was mine again, completely. I hired a new assistant manager, a recent culinary school graduate named Lisa, who worked twice as hard as Marcus ever had. The maritime table's revenues improved. Without the constant drainage, without the embezzlement, the numbers looked healthy again. December brought holiday parties, regular customers, the rhythm of a restaurant doing what it does best. I worked the floor most nights, greeted guests, made sure everything ran smoothly. People asked about Marcus sometimes. Family matter? I'd say. We're moving forward. The Seattle food community had moved on. There were new dramas, new restaurants opening, the usual industry churn. Marcus and Vanessa had stopped posting about me on social media, stopped trying to control the narrative. They'd learned that stories without facts are just noise. Christmas Eve, I stood in the quiet restaurant after closing. Lisa had gone home. The staff had cleaned and prepped for our Christmas Day closure. I walked through the dining room, past the tables Sarah and I had chosen, the bar we'd designed together. 33 years. Longer than my marriage, longer than my son's entire life. My phone sat dark in my pocket. No calls from Marcus. No texts. We'd become strangers who happened to share DNA. I thought about Sarah, wondered what she'd say. Would she think I was too harsh? Or would she understand that sometimes love means protecting what you've built, setting boundaries even when it hurts? The trust was filed. When I died, everything would go to the scholarship fund. Young chefs, working hard, learning the craft, building something real. That felt right. That honored what Sarah and I had created better than handing it to someone who'd proven he couldn't be trusted with it. I locked the restaurant door, walked to my truck in the alley. Seattle was quiet on Christmas Eve, cold and clear. I drove home through empty streets, thinking about the year ahead. Maybe I'd expand the restaurant, add a private dining room. Maybe I'd take that trip to Italy I'd always planned with Sarah, but never took. Maybe I'd finally learn to live with the weight of what I'd lost and what I'd protected. At home, I made myself dinner. Simple pasta, glass of wine. Ate at the kitchen table where Sarah and I used to sit and plan our days. The house felt peaceful, not empty, just quiet. Room to breathe. My phone stayed off. Tomorrow was Christmas. I'd spend it alone, by choice, without bitterness. I'd protected Sarah's legacy. I'd set boundaries. I'd chosen integrity over family obligation. In the morning, I'd wake up, and the rest of my life would continue. The restaurant would open the day after Christmas. Customers would return. The work would go on. And somewhere in Seattle, Marcus and Vanessa would live with the consequences of their choices, just as I lived with mine. I rinsed my plate, turned off the lights, went to bed. When sleep came, it was deep and dreamless. No regrets, no second guessing. Just the quiet certainty that I'd done what needed to be done,